Update. Am I the a-hole for asking my sister to give me my money back after her husband made fun of my wife's scars? Original post. My sister borrowed money from me almost a year ago for her husband's surgery and healthcare. They couldn't afford it, so when my sister asked me for financial help, I was hesitant. But I helped her because she's my sister, and helping her husband would mean helping her as well. I told her back then that I was hesitating, but I would help. She said she'd return the money in 3 months, but she didn't. And I didn't ask her either. So now I brought it up again. I wasn't planning on asking for the money back, but her husband made fun of my wife's scars. My wife has small scars on her hand. It's not serious, just small scars she inflicted on herself when she was 15. I was with her back then and put a stop to it. We are both 27 now, and my brother-in-law made fun of my wife when he asked her if she's still childish and told her to cover up her hands because it's unpleasant for everyone. Both of our families were speechless, and my wife was as well. I said when we are young we do dumb stuff, and he's too drunk so he should just shut up. He got a bit more aggressive and said that it's still unpleasant and my wife should cover up. I retaliated in my anger and told him that my wife will start covering her scars when he gives me my money back. To be honest, I get angry easily, and I wanted to insult him. My wife was holding me to stop, but I told her to shut up. I ended up telling him that he's a poor man and weak who couldn't even afford his own surgery and had his wife beg for money from her brother. He got even more angry and said he will give me my money. I said, do it right now, but you can't because you can't even walk properly. Our families were interfering and my sister was crying. I shut my mouth because I didn't want my sister to cry. Since then, my sister has been asking me to apologize because I hurt his ego and he's in a foul mood and depressed. I told my sister that I will never apologize and he needs to apologize to my wife. I also asked her that both of them owe me money and I want it back as soon as possible, and I don't care if they are poor. Now for the top comments before reading the updates. Not the a-hole. Okay, telling your wife to shut up is not okay, but I also get the fact that you were defending her and wanted to hurt him. I get the anger when it comes to protecting family. When someone goes low on my family, I scrape the barrels of hell. Agree, not the a-hole. And I expect telling your wife to shut up was heat of the moment. I will say I'm like you can mess with me, but you leave my wife and family out of it. Because if you do, karma will break you, and I am karma. You do not go after family, in-laws, etc. He is weak and had no respect for your wife. I could care less. I will defend my wife because she has more class and respect for family in her fingernail than he has in his body. Call the debt. He is weak and he can't afford the checks his body is trying to cash. Not the a-hole. Your brother-in-law can dish it out, but he can't take it. He should try to be more respectful to someone who was kind enough to loan him money and not ask for it back after 4 times the agreed timetable of repayment on the loan had expired. You have your wife's back at the end of the day. We're Scottish, and the stuff we say to each other on a good day in banter is sometimes wild. Come at us for real, and we'll drag you like an empty tracksuit. Yes, right? I have my wife's back and my wife has mine, and I didn't even insult my brother-in-law as much as I wanted to in order to inform respect of my wife and my sister, and basically my whole family. My wife can tell me to shut up. She tells me to shut up even when she's the wronged one. So why exactly is it a problem for everyone here about the shut up part? My wife and I don't care about the shut up part. I am not a Scot, but in my language, shut up is not a huge problem, yet people here are acting like I am a huge freaking villain who wants to hurt my wife, and some clown even mentioned ho. Like, seriously? Now for the first update. It's an update for those who don't want to read my previous post. My wife has some small self-harm scars from her childhood, and my brother-in-law insulted my wife and asked her to cover them up. When I couldn't tolerate the disrespect, I asked him to give me the money I lent him for his surgery and healthcare. My wife told me today that my brother-in-law called her and apologized to her, so I shouldn't ask for the money because they can't afford it and I should forgive them. I told my wife that he's taking advantage of her kindness, and he apologized to her because he can't afford to pay. He insulted her in front of everyone, and we deserve a public apology. My wife said that she's forgiven him and doesn't want the money back, and that they need that money more than us. I told her to stay away from this and let me do my thing. I will ask them again and again until they pay, but my wife said she doesn't want to, and I shouldn't either. She said I should be the bigger person, since my brother-in-law apologized and she's forgiven him. Actually, I don't care if I get my money back. I am just using it to get back at him. I want to humiliate him, just like he humiliated my wife in front of our families. But my wife doesn't want that. So am I the a-hole if I ask for my money and go behind my wife's back? Your wife is the injured party of the words. Let her decide what happens. He should apologize in front of everyone though, since he insulted her in front of everyone. Then tell him one more negative comment, and the money becomes payable immediately. Consequences if he does it again. My wife isn't the only one who's injured. I am as well. And he definitely should apologize in front of everyone. And maybe if he did, I would have forgiven him for insulting my wife. But it's my money, and I think I have the right to ask for it. And I would have if my wife didn't stop me. But she's all about family and helping family. Her kindness and love for family blind her so much that she would even forgive someone who disrespected her in front of our families. Though our families didn't take my brother-in-law's words as disrespect because my brother-in-law was drunk and he's frustrated because he can't even walk properly. They should pay you back because you let them borrow from the kindness of your hearts. I totally get where you're coming from, but the family drama is probably stressing your wife out. I think her mental health and happiness is more of a priority than humiliation. The humiliation could also make her feel guilty, even though it's not her doing, but technically it's because of her. Love that you're defending her though. By the way, your sister's husband is the a-hole. Definitely OP should never give or loan them money ever again. I think brother-in-law torched that bridge. We can hope. I've seen posts where idiots keep giving someone who is known to be unreliable with money, and then they act surprised when they're not paid back. Yeah, probably best to go with what your wife is asking for here. That's what I am thinking as well, and it's not like I have a choice, I think. I know she's too soft, but how could she forgive him so easily after she was humiliated in front of everyone? We should retaliate, or at least she should let me. And it's been a year, and if I get my money back, we could use it for trips, or I could buy jewelry for her. Didn't you already humiliate him publicly when you called him out for owing you money? At some point, you're just going to turn everyone against you because you're no longer the wronged party, but the bully. A bigger bully than your brother-in-law. Second update. After my brother-in-law made fun of my wife and my wife's insistence that I should forgive and forget about the money, we had major disagreements and argued about it. I said I won't escalate anymore and I won't humiliate him for humiliating us, but it's fair that I ask for my money back. It's my money and they should pay, right? My wife said she wants no escalation and wants to let it go. It's up to them if they pay us back on their own, but we won't ask them to or force them like I was planning. I told my wife that we could use that money. It's ours and we could use it. But she said she doesn't care anymore. He's family and I should forgive him. I said she's angry and she wants me to let it go, so she's in charge of the money. It's her decision whether she wants it back or not, but I never want to see my brother-in-law ever again. And if he pulls something like this ever again, he'll need another surgery on his other leg as well. I called my sister and told her that if she ever plans to give me the money I lent her, she should give it to my wife because I don't want anything to do with her or her pathetic husband. So yeah, that's about it. My wife is happy with my decision, but I am still pissed about everything that happened in these weeks. I've watched enough daytime court TV to know a gift is a gift and can't be taken back LOL. But making comments about him being too broke to take care of himself is free game. I did. I insulted him about being broke and not being able to pay back, and can't even walk properly anymore after I saved his life. I wanted to insult him more, but I can't because of my wife. I kinda resent her for her decision, but if it makes her happy, then I will just let it go. I'll just think of it as another expense for my wife. I am sure I will never see my money ever again. If it's making you resent your wife, it doesn't sound like you can just let it go. Your feelings should have equal importance to your wife's, especially since this involves your money and your family. Maybe you need to have another talk with your wife. If it were her money and her family insulting her, I would say okay, but that was your money and your side of the family. You deserve a say, and your wife should respect you enough to let you handle your money and your side of the family how you see fit. Your wife needs to see she needs to be team you guys, and not just all about letting people trample on the both of you just to avoid confrontation. Hopefully, your wife will come around and you can move past the resentment. I do not resent my wife. I can't resent her, but I resent her decision. My wife has made her decision, and my opinion over hers doesn't matter to me. She wants to forgive him and forget about the money he owes me. She's in charge now. If my sister and her husband want to pay us back, they'll pay my wife, and I will avoid confrontation. I don't want to talk to my sister or her pathetic husband. My wife will, and I hope she doesn't get insulted again. Lending money to anyone, family or not family, is always a gamble. We have no idea if the recipient will be grateful or not. If possible, do try to get the money back. It was a loan and not a gift. After that, go low contact with your sister and no contact with your brother-in-law. Oh no, I am 100% sure that they won't pay back, and even if they do, my wife will never accept it. She has always been a soft woman. Consider it a cheap price for being free of them forever. They sound awful. Last story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to sign over my half of a property until I get legal security? I co-own a property with my sibling in the Caribbean. The property originally came with a big debt, and for years my sibling worked hard to pay it off. They eventually cleared the debt, and now they want me to sign over my half so they can have full ownership. The understanding made years ago was that I would give up my share, and in return I would inherit another property from our parent. But the problem is that my parent has never transferred that property to me, nor put anything in a legal will. Now my sibling is pressuring me to sign everything over immediately. They say I'm being greedy, that I'm holding them back, and even that I'll ruin a bank deal if I don't give in. My parent isn't supporting me either. They say I don't deserve the property, that I should be grateful for anything I get, and they refuse to put anything in writing. The truth is, I'm not against signing over my share. I just want a legal guarantee that I'll actually receive the property I was promised. Without that, I risk losing my half of the property and ending up with nothing. Here's how things really started. Years ago, when I was still a minor, the family made a verbal agreement. The deal was that my sibling would get this property, and I would inherit my parents' house after they passed. I agreed, but only if my parent made a will naming me as the sole inheritor. That will never happened, even though I've asked for it many times. Now I'm in my 20s and studying abroad. I haven't been involved in managing this property at all. I only recently learned that I still had legal rights to my share. Up until then, I thought I'd already given them up. Last week, my sibling told me to sign my half over immediately. I said I would, but only if my parent made an official notarized will giving me the house. Instead of agreeing, they set new conditions. I could inherit the house, but I'd have to cover all funeral costs. I agreed to this. I would have to allow any family member who needed housing to live there. This I don't agree with, because it means I'd take on all responsibility, but have no control. As a compromise, I offered to sign a contract where my sibling could move forward with their half and even start building, while I hold my half until I legally inherit the house. To protect them, I suggested a clause that I can't sell my half or do anything with it in the meantime. If I don't inherit the house, then they'd buy me out at fair market value. That way, both of us are protected. But my sibling and parent rejected this. They say I'm being manipulative and greedy, and that I should just trust them and give up my rights now, even though that could mean waiting 30+ years with no security. I don't want more than anyone else. I just want fairness and legal security before giving up my share. Now for the top comments. Info. What money have you put into the property? Or was it inherited to you? You say your siblings have been paying off debt. Was that debt attached to the property? If they have been paying the debt attached to the property for years while you haven't, yes, you're the a-hole. Also, your parents are correct. You are not owed an inheritance. And you won't get one if you don't have a good relationship with them. But this is missing a lot of information to make a call on whether you're being unreasonable or not. And this being Reddit, I'm skeptical of the missing information. I fully agree with you, and that's why I'm struggling so much with this. I was a minor at the start of the entire process, and am now a student. I'm not financially able to pay anything, and understand that my sibling worked for this, even if we are both being gifted something. The property had debt attached to it that my sibling managed to minimize by a lot and then paid off. I recognize all of their efforts, and that's why I didn't want to put up a fight in the first place. My only condition was for them to help me secure what we all agreed on when I was a minor, my parents' house fully left to me upon their passing, in exchange for the full rights to the other property. When things got sketchy with my parent, I proposed a contract that I believe is fair and would protect my sibling while protecting me, but they didn't want that because it would take too long and I would be blocking their progress. I know I'm not owed anything and I agree, but I only want what was promised to me and what I believe is fair, but that's becoming a fight now too. Not the a-hole. Trust me, bro, isn't a legal document. Get it in writing first. They aren't even saying that. They seem really clear that they are not giving OP more property. They don't think OP deserves it. Yeah, even if they get a new will to appease OP, they could just change it again after the deal is done. Nobody will screw you over faster than family. Ain't that the truth?